Well, hello everybody, welcome back. We're doing a second episode of the Little Journal because I actually got some painting done today. Something that I'm really fucking proud of, to be honest with you. So, these are actually models for the Acolytes of the Primordial line from the Dragon Trapper's Lounge. I believe this was their, I want to say August and September model line, which is just a little fantasy war army based around dinosaurs and just Aztec Mesoamerican iconography. This is used specifically in the one-page rules version of Age of Fantasy, which is what I play them with in a skirmish army. And I love the detail work on these guys. They really fit the Aztec imagery. They remind me a lot of the dinosaurs from Ixalan, the Sun Empire specifically. And I kind of painted them reflecting that color scheme. I used a lot of greens, a lot of gold. You'll see in the other models I dipped into other colors from that set. These specifically, I wanted them to reminisce the raptors from, I believe they were the uncommon and common raptors found in the original Ixalan set. So the three of them, they had glaives. Their faces were pretty well made, specifically for how small these guys are. These are on 25mm bases. Here, Dragon Trapper Lounge. I enjoyed painting these, but my god, were they time consuming. I think in total, these three little raptors took me, I want to say like 2 hours to paint, just because I actually had to dig in and detail work their heads, which I think I can zoom in on them. Like, there's a lot of detail here. And I didn't really paint it as best as I could, because as you can see, there's little details here, like the lettering on the collarbone that I just couldn't get that deep in. There are little shoulder blades of little designs that I wasn't able to get. I think somebody a little more skilled than I am, could probably paint these guys at a much higher detail level. If you're wondering for the blue, I actually painted the blue as kind of like a reference to the vibranium found in the Atlanteans in Black Panther 2. The one with Namor and all the Atlanteans, they use bright colored blue vibranium in all their iconography and all their weapons, their regalias, their clothing, their armor. And I wanted to put that light blue in any area of these dinosaurs which were either really important, like the headdress here, or used as a weapon, as they would in their spears and their tails. So that's these three guys over here. Following these guys, we had the actual Acolytes, which was your main infantry unit for the army. And I think I'm still zoomed in there. These guys, they're really big guys compared to just regular human being models, because they're in scale. They're scaled to be the same as Warhammer models. So this is a Triceratops, so a human being will be up to here. I think a guardsman gets up to their shoulders, and a custodian gets a little bit up to here when it comes to height-wise. Again, really detailed sculpts. I love the way they actually got this gold to look over here. If I zoom in a little closer into their actual armor, you'll notice that it's scaled, and I managed to paint the little scales with little highlights on them. The face is pretty well made. You can go really in depth with this. These guys took me forever to paint. I don't know if it's viable for me to do an entire army of them, because every single model would require this level of detail to actually make the sculpts shine a bit. You look at their left shoulder blade, and you have the intrinsic little writing on the little bands over here. You have the little scale mail on their shoulder blades, their bone spikes coming out their sides, and you have this glaive. They come in actual multiple model types. Like, this is the glaive version. I believe they have a sword version and a lance version. I would have to double check, but lovely little dudes. In the actual tabletop, they're not that great. I will say they are probably the weakest unit in the whole army. They're your generic little grunt units. They have impact. They'll do a lot of melee. They have no range. I'm actually really proud of how I did the abs for this guy. Got the highlighting done really well. The face got a little messed up here. But overall, really happy with these guys. The print for this guy failed, and I actually got the back end of the glaive missing, but I managed to just make it work. I just painted as if it would be an X. These guys over here, the Raptors, are, I want to say, the best unit in the whole army, by far. In skirmish, they cost like 45 points, and they just shred through heavy infantry. They burn through toughness units like crazy. They have AP4 when they deal damage to them. Really solid units. These guys, I would probably cut. If we were building the army from scratch, knowing the actual gameplay patterns, we'd get rid of this guy immediately. As for the HQ unit, we have this little dude. I forgot his name. I probably should have checked. But he is the main infantry leader for the Acolytes, the middle dudes. And this guy, I think, is my favorite when it comes just to detail work. Like, if you look at his chest, you have really nice little angled squares running up and down the whole thing. If you got like a really thin brush, you could probably paint each individual line here. I got close. I couldn't do everything. Like here, I attempted to do the green on the kneecaps. But if you just look at like the shoulder blades, the golden, like these, I probably should have painted those green, but I was running out of time because I only had a week. We played on Friday, so I had to paint all these like from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But this reminds me of the mask from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which I liked a lot. Probably I smudged a little bit here, mainly because I was rushing by the time I got this model done. But I think if you just sit down and just sculpt and paint this model with your best of your ability, you'll get an amazing little HQ unit. I did the headdress. This headdress specifically, I used it to reference, I believe, the concept art for Namor in Black Panther 2. If you look at the old concept art material, he's wearing this headdress piece, which is just all gold, with the vibranium blue on the inside kind of oozing through it. So with this guy specifically, I used more blue across his whole body, because even though the unit doesn't cast any spells, I feel like it should, so I just painted it accordingly. Whoops. One nice thing that I like about the Dragon Trapper's Lounge is they actually come with their bases. They supply the 3D models for the bases, which is great. It fits all the units equally. And as for after this guy, the last unit of the warband was this large boy right here. I can't even fit him on the camera, actually. He is a Lancer cavalry unit. Gigantic stats in the skirmish game. I painted the little yellow, red, purple gradient for the headdress, one of the horns, a little light blue on the Triceratops mount, and then again just amazing level of detail work when it comes to the Lancer. Of course, you're gonna miss a couple spots just to get the brush in there. These do come fully assembled in the 3D models. Like the rider is one piece. The dinosaur is three pieces: the head, the body, and the tail. So you could probably paint it in separate pieces. But the rider, it just comes as is. So painting the inside of their armor is just gonna suck. Trying to get a brush in there unless you're really trying to get in detail. Again, you could probably do a little better work than I could when it comes to these. I probably could have painted them a much lighter green and actually make the design stand out. But again, I was more on a time crunch. This model alone to paint, I think took me probably 6-7 hours from start to finish. Just including the base, the dinosaur, the mount, the lance. Extremely proud of how the piece came out though. The actual coloring for the Triceratops mount though, I got again from one of the Ixalan Triceratops, which I believe was a light blue to gray dinosaur with purple on the tips, and then its crest was a brighter yellow, red, purple. It doesn't really show up that much on this model because I wanted it to show a little bit of shadow, and because I couldn't get the colors to both blend correctly and actually cover the blue that was underneath it. That I could probably do better on further paintings if I did this model again. Really happy with this. I think if we move on to full-scale fantasy, we'll probably print out... Let me tilt it up a little bit. We'll probably print out bigger models, but as of now, this is the army as it is for Skirmish. I highly recommend getting their models if you're into 3D printing, and specifically into fantasy from one-page rules. They balance their armies around the internal balance of the game, so nothing's overpowered. With a game that I played against them, I lost pretty badly, but that's because I was playing Stormcast Eternals, and in Age of Fantasy, they're not great. I just like the way they look. But overall, lovely army. I recommend it to everybody. You can find them on my Minifactory. I'm actually following their Patreon, so I get a bunch of these models per month. But so far, that's what I did this week. I'm really proud of it. As for the following week, what I'm going to probably end up doing is painting the Sisters of Battle, not Sisters of Battle, the Sisters of Silence models that I got. I have this Custodes Captain that I'm doing for my personal Custodes army. I changed the face because I just don't like the original sculpt of the head here. And I'm going to paint this up. My Custodes have a weird, like, forest protector vibe to them, so they're mainly gold, green, and white, like the Selesnya Conclave. And their bases are all textured to be just either riverside, forest creeks, turned out logs, autumnal leaves. So that's for the Custodes Captain. I'm painting her, and then I'm also painting this squad of Sisters of Silence. They're not the original sculpts, because I'm actually not a fan of the original sister sculpts. I did use their heads just to keep them recognizable. But these 5 are from Divergent Realms, which I think is my favorite STL producer when it comes to the sisters. Again, I'm really proud of the bases on these. I really went for that earthly, rugged look for the bases, which I'm happy about. Managed to get some Vallejo water modeling paste to get the watercoloring, the water texture to look well. So these are the main generic sisters. They're just rifle sisters. And one-page rules are just meant to hold down objectives, much like they do in Warhammer, and just kind of stay there and survive and just fend off attackers. On top of them, I also have this 3-man squad of sisters that are specifically flamer units. They use flamers in one-page rules, and there's no real 40k equivalent to them, because the sisters in 40k are honestly not as developed as they are in one-page rules. They have multiple different army types, different weapon loadouts, and these specifically is just a 3-girl unit of flamers. And I've recently played a full-scale game of Grim Dark Future, and they put it to work. They obliterated like multiple infantry units for the opposing army before they went down. But again, can't wait to actually paint these. And then as for the Sister Superiors, in this specific version of models, they come as these armored sisters, really. So one being a melee-focused sister, one being a flamer sister, which I paired her up with those 3 over there. So this is probably what I'm painting next week. Really looking forward to it, and hopefully I can get them done by probably next weekend, if not the weekend after, because this is a lot of models. But that's definitely on my to-do list after this. Anyway, I'll catch you all next time. Bye.